Hello students, welcome to the English class again. For the last few days in my video lecture, we have started with a revision and recapitulation of some of the chapters from Flamingo. In my last video lecture, I have started with the law spring, the revision of law spring. Initially, I have also given the video lecture on the last lesson. I hope students, you all have gone through the video lecture and have understood that what type of questions are important for the board or for you all to study, right? So let's continue with the revision of the law spring. In my last video lecture, I have completed till means of survival, and from today in this video lecture we will continue from one winter morning. So till now we have seen that how we have gone through the life circle of Sahib. We have seen that how Sahib, the rag picker, is acquainted with the author of the story. We have seen that what kind of life they are living, the abject poverty they are encircled to. Okay, we have also seen about Simapuri. We have also read about Simapuri. We have seen that how they are all, the author is pained by the fact that the rag pickers are still barefoot, and of course garbage is gold, isn't it? So now let's continue from here. One winter morning, I see Sahib standing by the fenced gate of the neighborhood club, watching two young men dressed in white playing tennis. I like the game, he hums, content to watch it standing behind the fence. I go inside when no one is around, he admits. The gatekeeper lets me use the swing. Sahib, too, is wearing tennis shoes that look strange over his discolored shirt and shorts. Someone gave them to me, he says, in the manner of an explanation. The fact that they are discarded shoes of some rich boy who perhaps refused to wear them because of a hole in one of them does not bother him. For one who has walked barefoot, even shoes with a hole is a dream come true. But the game he is watching so intently is out of his reach. So one winter morning, what happened? The author sees Sahib outside the fenced gate of the neighborhood club. He is watching a game of tennis. Sahib seems to be fascinated by the game. He tells the author that sometimes the guard lets him in and then he can ride the swing. The author notices that Sahib is wearing tennis shoes. Sahib tells her that someone had given them to him. The fact that some rich boy discarded the shoe because there was a hole in one of them does not bother Sahib. For Sahib, who has walked his whole life barefoot, it is like a dream come true, isn't it? To get a shoe. Because just a few pages earlier only we have seen that the author says that is Sahib-e-Alam and some of the other rag pickers, they say that they don't have shoes. Okay, they are moving around the country barefooted, isn't it? So now having this tennis shoe is understood that Sahib had picked it up from the garbages, isn't it? Okay. This morning Sahib is on his way to the milk booth. In his hand is a steel canister. I now work in a tea stall down the road, he says, pointing in the distance. I am paid 800 rupees and all my meals. Does he like the job? I ask. His face, I see, has lost the carefree look. The steel canister seems heavier than the plastic bag he would carry so lightly over his shoulder. The bag was his. The canister belongs to the man who owns the tea shop. Sahib is no longer his master. Well, students, this paragraph is very much important because question has repeatedly come from this particular paragraph. What happens actually is that one morning the author sees Sahib on his way to the milk booth. He is carrying a steel canister. He informs the author that now he works at the tea stall and is paid rupees 100 and all his meals, right? But the author feels that Sahib is not happy. His face has lost its carefree look. The canister seems heavier than the plastic bag. Okay, the bag was his, but the canister belongs to the owner of the tea stall. Sahib is no longer his own master. Okay, now the question that had repeatedly come from here is that was you can write it down, was Sahib happy with the new job? Was Sahib happy with the new job? Okay, so of course the answer comes from here only, that is Sahib has lost his carefree look. Okay, because he has lost his carefree look because he is now carrying the steel canister. Okay, the steel canister which no longer belongs to him but belongs to his master. Okay, we have seen that Sahib is earning now 800 rupees and also given his meals. Okay, but the carefree look is not there, and that shows that Sahib is not happy. Okay, why? Because still he is burdened with poverty, because he is still burdened with poverty. Okay, only rupees 800 per month and meals, 2 meals per every day is not enough to remove the poverty. Okay, moreover, that free moving around freely around the countryside, that is something which was what made Sahib independent. But now Sahib is not a free boy. Right, students, I hope you have understood. So till this much is Sahib-e-Alams, that is sometimes I get a rupee, isn't it? That is the first part. Sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. This is the first part, that is about Sahib-e-Alam. And now we are going to start with the new part, okay, that is from Mukesh. Okay, here we will find here the second part which is given, I want to drive a car, about Mukesh. So let's start. I want to drive a car. Mukesh insists on being his own master. I will be a motor mechanic, he announces. Do you know anything about cars? I ask. I will learn to drive a car, he answers, looking straight into my eyes. His dream looms like a mirage amidst the dust of streets that fill his town, Firozabad, famous for its bangles. Every other family in Firozabad is engaged in making bangles. It is the center of India's glass-blowing industry, where families have spent generations working around furnaces, welding glass, making bangles for all the women in the land, it seems. So here begins the second story. In Firozabad, the author meets Mukesh, who insists on becoming his own master, on being his own master. He wishes to be a motor mechanic. Anis asks him if he knows anything about cars. Mukesh replies that he will learn to drive a car. Okay, means according to Mukesh, driving a car and becoming a motor mechanic means driving a car is a way to become a motor mechanic. Okay, now the author feels that his that Mukesh dreams is like a mirage, okay, amidst the dusty streets of Firozabad, because every family in Firozabad, okay, every second family, means maximum family of Firozabad, is engaged in the business of bangle making. Okay, now Firozabad is the center of India's glass blowing industry, where generation after generations have been involved in this particular business, the business of making bangles. Okay, beautiful colorful bangles, and distributed around the country. Okay, right. Mukesh family is among them. None of them know it is illegal for children like him to work in the glass furnaces with high temperatures, in dingy cells without air and light, that the law, if enforced, could get him and all those 20,000 children out of the hot furnaces where they slog their daylight hours, often losing the brightness of their eyes. Mukesh's eyes beam as he volunteers to take me home, which he proudly says is being rebuilt. He walked down stinking lanes, choked with garbage, past homes that remain hovels, with crumbling walls, wobbly doors, no windows, crowded with families of humans and animals coexisting in a primeval state. He stops at the door of one such house, bangs a wobbly iron door with his foot, and pushes it open. We enter a half-built shack. In one part of it, thatched with dead grass, is a firewood stove over which sits a large vessel of sizzling spinach leaves. So here what we find is that here this paragraph is about the condition of Firozabad. Okay, condition of bangle makers. Okay, This part is important because here we are coming to know about in what unhygienic condition Mukesh and his family, or his Mukesh and the like of him, they are living. Okay, so here we get to know about the conditions of Firozabad, what kind of unhygienic situation they are spending their, or they are residing their lives into. Okay, so this part you will be seeing. You can just write this particular thing, the question you can write over here. In what unhealthy unhealthy condition do Mukesh and his like live? In what unhealthy condition do Mukesh and his like live? Okay, so this one you have to write. Here we have to say that what is the condition. You have to write that they are living, means they have some work in glass furnace with high temperature, dingy cells, okay, without air and light, right? They are losing their brightness of the year. Then we walk down the stinking lanes choked with garbage, okay. Then the crumbling walls where no windows, no doors, crowded with family and humans coexisting, okay. All this particular part you are going to write over here. And we see that the author goes to Mukesh house. What did she find inside the house? On the ground in large aluminium platter are more chopped vegetables. A frail young woman is cooking the evening meal for the whole family. Through eyes filled with smoke she smiles. She is the wife of Mukesh's elder brother, not much older in years. She has begun to command respect as the Bahu, the daughter-in-law of the house, already in charge of 3 men, her husband Mukesh and their father. When the older man enters, she gently withdraws behind the broken wall and brings her veil closer to her face. As custom demands, daughter-in-law must veil their faces before male elders. In this case, the elder is an impoverished bangle maker. Despite long years of hard labor, first as a tailor, then a bangle maker, he has failed to renovate a house, send his 2 sons to school. All he has managed to do is teach them what he knows, the art of making bangles. Okay, so here we find that Mukesh, the author encounters with another kind of poverty. The people of Firozabad involve their children in the bangle making industry without knowing that it is completely illegal for children to work in the glass furnaces with high temperature, okay, in dingy cells without air and light. Now, if the law is enforced, almost 20,000 children would be out of the hot furnaces where they work day and night, often losing their brightness of their eyes, isn't it? Now, Mukesh proudly announces that his house is being rebuilt and volunteers to take the author home. They walk down stinking lanes choked with garbage, past houses that are small and dirty constructions with wobbly doors and with no windows, where families and humans are animals and humans are living together. Okay, they enter a half-built shack, one part of which is thatched with dead grass, where a frail young woman is cooking the evening meal for the whole family. She is the wife of Mukesh's elder brother. Though not much older in years, she is the Bahu of the house, okay. And the moment her father-in-law enters the house, that is Mukesh father enters the house, she covers her face with the veil, okay, and hides behind a half-broken wall. Okay, so this is the condition. Or when we find that Mukesh's father has worked all his life very hard, okay, first he was a tailor, then he became a bangle maker, but still this poor fellow had not been able to renovate his house or send his 2 sons to school. Okay, all he could manage to do was to teach them, these 2 sons, what he knows about the art of bangle making, right? It is his karam, his destiny, says Mukesh's grandmother, who has watched her own husband go blind with the dust from polishing the glass of bangles. Can a God-given lineage ever be broken? She implies. Born in the caste of bangle makers, they have seen nothing but bangles in the house, in the yard, in every other house, every other yard, every street in Firozabad. Spirals of bangles, sunny gold, paddy green, royal blue, pink, purple, every color born out of the 7 colors of the rainbow. She lie in mounds in unkempt yards, are piled on four-wheeled handcarts, pushed by young men along the narrow lanes of the shanty town, and in dark hutments next to lines of flames of flickering oil lamps sit boys and girls with their fathers and mothers, wielding pieces of colored glass into circles of bangles. Their eyes are more adjusted to the dark than to the light outside. That is why they often end up losing their eyesight before they become adults. Okay, so here we find that the author is making us acquainted about the various kind of poverty stricken people of the who are coming to this bangle making community. All he could manage to do was this Mukesh grandmother says that this is a god given lineage. Now this part is very much important. Question had come, you just mark out this part, that it is his karam, his destiny, Mukesh grandmother said. Okay, so this part is important. This line can be quoted and can be said that comment about the condition. You can write down comment about the condition of the bangle makers. Comment about the condition of the bangle makers. Okay, so here you have to write that these bangle makers, they consider it to be born, that since born in a caste of bangle makers, they have seen nothing but bangles. Okay, and they have to do only bangle making only, and no other profession would suit them, or at least they cannot expect or dream to become something else. Okay, Savita, a young girl in a drab pink dress, sits alongside an elderly woman soldering pieces of glass. As her hands move mechanically like the tongs of a machine, I wonder if she knows the sanctity of the bangles she helps make. It symbolizes an Indian woman's suhag, auspiciousness in marriage. It will dawn on her suddenly one day when her head is draped with a red veil, her hands dyed red with henna and red bangles rolled onto her wrist. She will then become a bride, like the old woman beside her who became one many years ago. She still has bangles on her wrist, but no light in her eyes. Ek waqt ser bhar khana bhi nahi khaya, she says, in a voice drained of joy. She has not enjoyed even one full meal in her entire lifetime. That's what she has reaped. Her husband, an old man with a flowing beard, says, I know nothing except bangles. All I have done is make a house for the family to live in. So here we find that we are being introduced to a girl, Savita. So this comes for the 2 marks question. Okay, regarding Savita, 2 marks question, it has appeared. Okay, so it has appeared in the year 2015 and 2017. Okay, before that and after that I have not observed this question had come. So you can go through this. Okay, Savita, that is narrate Savita's condition, or how is Savita depicted, okay, as one of the sufferer from the bangle making community. Okay, sufferer of abject poverty in the bangle making community, right? So you can just narrate down this entire thing about Savita, that is about this girl. Okay, that how she is drab in pink dress and sitting beside an elderly woman help to make bangles. Okay, her hands is also moving like machine, and Anis wonder if Savita understands the sanctity of the bangles for Indian women. The sad irony will suddenly dawn upon her. Okay, she will become a bride like the old woman sitting beside her. In a voice drained of joy, the old lady tells the author that she has not enjoyed even one full meal in her entire lifetime. Okay, so this one you all have to go through. Okay, that is how this old woman, that is her husband had also lost his eyesight, and how they are suffering, okay, with this particular line, that they could not have stomach filled meal also after some few days. So how this shows that this bangle making community are suffering various kind of what we can see, inhuman poverty lines, or the perpetual state of poverty which we have seen in the Sahib's case is also applicable in this in their case too. Okay, now the questions that usually come from here is, if you see it very carefully, describe the difficulties of the bangle makers of Firozabad have to face in their lives. You just write down the question, describe the difficulties the bangle makers of Firozabad have to face in their lives? In their lives. Well, I'm repeating the question again for you all to write down. Describe the difficulties the bangle makers of Firozabad have to face in their lives. Well, this question had come in the year 2015, okay, 2016, 2018 and 2019. Okay, so all these years this question had come, and this comes under 5 marks, your long answer type question. Okay, so here you have to write about the condition of Firozabad, the bangle makers of Firozabad, how they are exposed to multiple health hazards, okay, while working. Many of them are children who work near hot furnaces during daylight, okay, often losing their eyesight before adulthood. Years of mind-numbing toil have killed all initiative and the ability to even think of taking up any other profession. They are not able to organize themselves into a cooperative. Okay, that one we will be seeing later. Okay, they live in stinking lanes choked with garbage, having homes with crumbling walls, wobbly doors. Okay, they have not even enjoyed even one full meal in their entire lifetime because of their poverty. So the entire thing about Firozabad people, what kind of sufferings they are facing, all those things you have to write down in this particular answer. Okay. Well, students, I have done today till this one. Hearing him, one wonders if he has achieved what many have failed in their lifetime. He has a roof over his head. We have done till this much. Okay, in my next video lecture, we will start from the cry of not having money to do anything. From here, we are going to start, right? So in this part we will see, we have already seen, we have completed with Sahib, we have started with Mukesh, okay, about Firozabad. Okay, in my next video lecture I will of course complete the chapter and discuss some of the other important questions that have come from this chapter. So students, please see the video lecture properly, okay, write down the questions properly, and if it is possible, please write down, if it is possible, but please, when you write down the question, you also write down the answer also, okay, then and there. Then what will happen, while writing down the answer or while framing the answer, at least the chapter will be remembered by you, or the chapter will become very much clear to you. You will not forget. Okay, I hope this video lecture will be helpful to you. We are recapitulating all the old chapters, so that will be really helpful for your exam. Okay, students, thank you all. Study well.